Saturday Success Strategy Session. I'm Melissa Norgate, your host, and today's session is about being that employee who plays well with others. I've got a PowerPoint slide that I'll present, and I think I can do that. I have to share my screen. Just a minute, please. Here I go with all my crazy files. Excellent. So what is being an employee who plays well with others? Well, first of all, it's cooperation. Being a cooperative individual gets you through many doors and down the road a long way. So cooperation, what's cooperation mean? That means the ability to implement skills that interact and relate to other people very well. So cooperation is whether you're giving or taking. We call the push me, pull me. I think that's cooperation. It was a term used at Intel, and they did an entire training seminar on the push me, pull me, these techniques of being a cooperative individual. So I really gained a lot out of working in that environment and what I learned. The push me, pull me, right, is you're not somebody's doormat, but you're trying to get what you want while you're giving somebody else what they want. And that ability to do that is a very important skill to own and have in your toolbox as you progress in your career, advance in your career. So one of the key factors, I think, in being able to do this, go to my next slide, having an effective working relationship, it forms a cornerstone for success and satisfaction with your job and your career. I pulled this from the internet, and so I should have had it in quotes, but the Gallup organization studied indicators of work satisfaction. So number one was if they found that if you had a best friend working with you in your company, that was a prediction of a job satisfaction. I also think that having cooperative relationships enables you to navigate some tough waters. We talked about difficult people in my announcement, and so if you create a negative atmosphere for yourself by undermining other people's work or doing, I say, dastardly things, that's not going to help you. You won't make friends. You're going to alienate yourself, and you will ultimately, because you have not created a conducive atmosphere within your team, likely, nobody's going to come to your rescue when things go sour. But I don't always see that as a truth either. I've been a recipient of power struggles or whatever, their idea, and those environments aren't conducive to my health, so it was better for me to move away. So the opening door was probably, the right direction to move, because I'm not an aggressive person. I also put in my quote today about the competition, goes only so far, and that cooperation goes much farther. You know, competition ends at a certain point and cooperation, you know, becomes the ultimate in what you want. And those are those environments that we see often, right? And that's dealing with difficult people, maybe, and the building the relationships, right, are the enablement of, number one, getting difficult people to cooperate with you, and then, or realizing maybe that's not an environment that you want to be in because it doesn't change, right? The landscape doesn't change, and you might be a person who's not that interested in that kind of competition. Being competitive doesn't mean, you know, it means sorry, waiting for my brother. Cooperation means unification, right? Getting unified, bringing everybody together. It's not an individual game. You are an individual playing on a team when you are working with others. If you're working by yourself, hey, you may not have to do all these things, but you still, if you're a business person or individual entrepreneur, you still have to work with others. You know, you've got customers out there, and how can I be of service is the number one, I think, gesture to enable you to be a qualified individual on a team and be a great player. I noticed the other day I was at a women's club meeting. It was really great, and all of us just pitched in. You know, one of the ladies' mothers actually opened up the club house for us to come in, excuse me, and have our meeting. So putting all the burden on her to, you know, unfold all the tables, put the chairs away, clean up the mess, and, you know, would have been very unrealistic. And all of us together, without even saying anything, immediately began picking up all the items, putting the chairs, folding the tables, asking where they went, getting the kitchen and the garbage cleaned up, and we just worked together. We didn't even ask each other. It was just an automatic kind of, you know, we just knew that is what cooperation, what you do for each other. I enjoy those atmospheres a great deal. I've had some situations in my own personal experience that were extremely uncomfortable, and I walked away, though, knowing that I would rather walk away than work in a team that accepted bad behavior. So there are times that going the extra mile, doing what you can is really beneficial, and then there's other times you just got to cut your losses and take off, because those kind of jobs are not going to change, they're not going to work out, and those environments are very toxic. There's nothing you can do to change that. So it typically is an entire group of people who, you know, that's conducive to their health. At any rate, we're going to work on the cooperative environments and build better relationships, because eventually those toxic places will, I think, implode on themselves. And we're gonna work on really fresh, great attitudes, because I know that's what you're capable of, and I know that's what you want for yourselves, and that's the way to advance, and that's what really great people want out of each other and the people they work with. So the next thing, and we talked about, you know, that the way to earn better income and progress in your career is by being a cooperative individual. I've had 98% of my experiences have just been flourishing and growing and developing, and I've just had remarkable bosses that have helped develop the areas of my experience and my skills. One of them, though, as they brought me in, they would say, you have a really great outgoing personality and you cooperate well with others. So that's my objective. You know, I want to make sure that I understand who my team players are. We talked last week about personality types and other elements of our personalities in order to strive to become a better team player. When you identify your strengths and weaknesses, your personality type, you're able to more fully engage with other team members, whether they're quiet or whether they're outgoing. Finding a way to blend in with all those teams, or knowing what those boundaries are, where you communicate well with them, where you don't. And so then you can stay, you know, you can, I wouldn't say avoid, but you learn to navigate those areas. And then if you don't cross over, you don't have conflict. So in a way, it's eliminating conflict by being aware and conscientious of your positive and negative influences within the group. Maybe because you are a morning person, like I am. My friends don't tend to be, or have not tended to be morning people. I am. I like getting up first thing in the morning, grab that coffee, and I am on it, right? A lot of people, they just are a little more slow to get there, and you know, that can sometimes be an irritant. We're up and ready to go, but that kind of comes from a farm community, you know, being raised on a farm. You're up, and it was a small farm nevertheless, but it was up milking the animals, you know, getting things done, hustling, and school, and off to the berry fields for summer. You know, as a child, I picked berries with my brothers and sisters. We went out to the berry fields. I think I started that at 7 years old. The berry bus would come around, and this is a really rural neighborhood. I mean, we were Beaverton, Oregon, and the berry bus would come around, pick us up, and we'd go out to Cornelius and pick berries till, I don't know, 3 or 4 or something like that. But it was 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and you're raring to go. So for us, that tempo, you know, was important to get things done and be successful in our lifestyle. So again, you implement the personality of yourself, and try to blend in with your team. So if somebody's not a morning person, do not go over to their desk and, you know, jump into a conversation right away. Blah, blah. Kind of let them gear up and notice that they've gotten their coffee and everybody's just kind of moseying around. You, however, could be talking with somebody on the East Coast. They're already up. That's 3 hours difference, right? So you can be chatting away, getting your work done, not having to bother anybody in the office, and still feel accomplished at the end of the day because you're hustling on it. And then there's the folks that are a little more chilled, laid back, whatever. Again, that kind of personality, okay, I'm not going to go engage with somebody who is, you know, jumping into their day because I'm not ready yet. And so I know if I go talk to them, you know, they're going to expect things of me, or they'll ask, you know, and I'm not ready I'm not geared up yet. So it works on both sides, and that is part of that cooperation, though. I totally knowing who your players, your team is, understanding each individual negative and positive aspects of their personality, just learning who your group is. You know, maybe if the whole group is a morning person, that's going to fit really well with you, right? Because you're raring to go and get on that all that business of the day. Again, being these individuals is going to, you know, bring you the most satisfaction out of your job at the end of the day with a pay raise. That's your goal. So when you start working with people, right, here's some do's and don'ts. What you want to do is you want to bring suggested solutions with the problems to the meeting table. You do not want to play the blame game. So don't play the blame game, pointing fingers and blaming somebody else for something. You know, that's not always a good aspect. However, I also believe that, again, it's that push me, pull me. You know, this was somebody, I did my part to this point, is a good way to express what's been done on the project. You can give the full scope of the project and say, these were my tasks, and I have accomplished these tasks. What happened to the rest of the project, you know, is in the team's hands. So that's not really playing the blame game. You're standing up for yourself without giving, you know, without taking the blame yourself for something that wasn't your, you know, responsibility. So own up to your responsibility, show data points, and then let the rest kind of fall to the way, you know, the table. The verbal and nonverbal communication, we talked about that last week. You know, what are your verbal and nonverbal communication cues, or, you know, what are you communicating to your team? If you're, you know, kept up in the corner like this, and, you know, that's not, that's kind of it's a sign that maybe something's wrong. You're open. I know a lot of, maybe too open is not a good thing, because it could have a connotation of maybe being self-centered or, you know, egotistical. But I think just being relaxed. We talked about the shoulders, the facial expressions, not rolling your eyes, you know, being aware of elements in your own body posture and personality that are going to be a welcoming to other people. If you've got a frown on your face, you know, social life is a social butterfly, but understanding where the people are in relationship to your business. So we got to set some things aside and, you know, not delve into others. So I talk about boundaries, and, you know, one person's boundary may not be another person's. I tend to try to leave my stuff at home so that I don't bring it to work, because I'm there to do a job and focus on my responsibilities. Often, though, you know, everybody has a family. We all like to you know, visit and chat. But you leave that to the break room, and don't let your personal problems, you know, become your desk. And that's just what I've been trained to do. The discipline about time and a place for everything. So again, that's that verbal, nonverbal communication. You want to have a business, you want to be ready, there, and able to work in your business environment, and ready to work on the project, not thinking about, oh, I forgot to feed the dog, or, you know, what's going on at home. And of course, there's always a stressful situation with a, you know, family illness, a child, those kinds of things. But the day-to-day matters should not be interfering with, you know, getting business done. That's how you know, you got to really focus on that. The don'ts, you know, don't blindside a coworker, boss, or reporting staff member. I mean, why would you want to do that, right? That's not a very cooperative gesture. You want to keep your commitments. You want to share your credit and accomplishments, ideas, and contributions. And nobody does everything by themselves. It takes a lot of people, even when you're an entrepreneur, working together to get things done. So when you regularly carry out these 7 actions, it will help you to play well with others and develop effective working relationships. Coworkers will value as colleagues, and bosses will believe you are the player on the right team. You'll accomplish your work goals, and you may even experience fun recognition and personal motivation. Can work get any better than that? No. That's the best kind of work, right? I love being on teams because of especially planning and being an admin, right? Administrative assistant, office professionals. That's the group on my LinkedIn group. And, I like planning things. So for me, that's a really great, motivation. Not everybody likes planning. Guys tend to enjoy that as much. They'd rather go to the party and show up and enjoy the festivities. So understanding that's a strength, right, and the weaknesses. It's okay the guys don't help out. That's my job. So, but when they do help out, they might carry things in for me. That's part of cooperation and admiring or, giving credit. That's kind of like, saying thank you, right? You're acknowledging somebody helped you out and how much you appreciate them helping you out. That's really important feedback for a receptive, a person who's helped you. So they may say, oh, it's nothing, and stuff like that. But you can go out of your way and say, that was really helpful to me because I was in such a rush and I had, we got pushed back on our time frame and something didn't show up or whatever. And your assistance really helped me out a lot to get the, the catering done or have the table set in time for everybody to show up. And so that one team member, right, who didn't have to help you, but he was there and he offered that, you can go give him a kudos or some kind of a coffee card, and just let him know that extra mile that he went out of his way to help you, and you want to show him recognition for that and appreciation. Those are simple things. Even a card, a nice note, something. I think those are always little tiny ways to help people, realize how much you appreciate what they've done. Very, very important, especially for administrative office professionals. I think we go with the extra mile on the special touches to, to tell somebody how much we appreciate what they've done. We had a lot of that. It was really great at Intel. The gals, people would, we would give kudos, and they were just small favors or acknowledgments. And I say favors because we talk about party favors. You hand out little gifts and trinkets. But I think it was the fact that people really worked hard together, and that we were recognized for that extra effort. You go around and clean up all the desks that another group might have left, and compile everything and sort and do things like that out of your extra time from your job. And you get a kudos for that, because that's going the extra mile that you didn't have to do, but you saw a need and took care of a place that other people weren't, and it had been left like that for a long time. So it's like, yeah, why not? Those are little things about working on a team. Being able to volunteer as long as your work's done, right? That's a way to be a team member that's going to help you get some recognition and fun. If you are on a team and your projects are slow or something like that, offering to help other people is really an important aspect of cooperation and being on a team, not just sitting there, well, my work's done, blah, blah. Being able to help out other people, I think, is really important. Some of the tough things that we talk about with difficult people. I think I have my last slide here, right? So here's the best scenario, right? Everybody at the table and working hard on projects. So I won't go more into the aspects of being a great team player and what it means. I think you get it. How you are going to accomplish that, it's going to be up to you. Your attitude, figuring out where your personality is. I've shown and directed you to all these utilities and resources that you'll be able to dive into and do your own research and learn about yourself, learn about other people. The Myers-Briggs, I don't know if I've brought that up before, I think I have. That evaluates that I'm an ENIJNT, so I'm kind of borderline. I've got an introvert-extrovert personality. And I think that helps me balance between people who are really shy and then people who are, boisterous and outgoing. I like working with both of them, and because I have similar abilities in myself. So anyway, it's all about you doing your research on yourself and figuring out what environments you work best in, what you don't work best in, stay away from those, and have an enjoyable career path that you will feel successful in and advance your career. So I wish you well today, and I look forward to our next session. I will make that announcement in the Wednesday session, what our topic will be, but we're going to stay on these paths of interpersonal relationships, building relationships, and being a communication commando. Remember, that's what this was all about. The month of June is being that command station of communication. It's you going outward and what you let inward, and how you interact with the world and your employment environments. So I look forward to visiting with you next week, and I hope you had a great visit today, and I look forward to our continued success.